more ancient cosmology, Buddhist cosmology. So I'm going to try to see where I left off last time. So I think I made it this far at least. Yeah. Seemingly. So yeah, because this is, I think I showed this one. This is like the chin and the upward pointing tongue of this scholar woman in Yama. She's right there. So yeah, there's Lord Yama. Like Yama is basically God, I think, and he's he's like probably Saturn, which is probably what Yahweh is, since the Jews worship Yahweh on Saturday, this day of Saturn. And so yeah, a lot of people have said that the god of the Judeo-Christian Islamic god is Saturn, and whereas the Greco-Roman god is, well, kind of both. But yeah, so here's him, Caprianov Peninsula, here's the Hell Warden, here's Big Konyuji, this disembodied head on a pole. Here's Nagai, this disembodied head on a pole. Here's the demon and this scholar woman. And here's these people like bowing down. Yada yada. So I don't know if I showed this one particularly, but it's basically just that same thing, just delineating all the details. Yeah. Like this shows all the islands as they actually are, other than the face of King Yama, Lord Enma-O. And so these are the Shumagin Islands near Kuprianov on the Alaskan Peninsula. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read these things. Let's see. This is from the text that accompanies these scrolls. So let's see. Describing the different hells. Until their souls are consumed with fear as in a nightmare. For 2,000 years they are flung headlong down toward this infernal abyss. So I think this is referring to the lowest hell, the hell of no limit, which is like South America and maybe some other places. Infernal abyss. So infernal means below. Infer, and then abyss basically means the underworld. This is the heart of the Shohonenkyo. That's a book. The Abijigoku is, so this Abijigoku, that's the hell of no limit, is 80,000. I'll try to, I'm basically just reading this, so I don't know how to make it legible through the actual phone, but I'll just say the text and disregard the imagery. So yeah, within the Abichigoku is 80,000 jhanas in length and breadth. Within the sevenfold walls made of iron, there are 7 folds of iron nets. Below the walls are 18 compartments, and around the walls are forests and swords. At each of the four corners there is a copper dog whose height is 40 yojanas. The eyes of these dogs are lightning. Their tusks are swords. Their teeth are mountains of swords, and their tongues are like thorns of iron. Okay, now I feel like I did cover this last time. But anyway, yeah, so it says their tusks are swords. So, oh wait, no. I'm thinking of something else. Oh yeah, their teeth are mountains. So their teeth may actually be mountains. Yeah. All right, I think I read these last time. The torture continues for immeasurable. Are you frightened? So this is where it says explicitly that the flames are not literal. The flames of hell are not literal. It says, are you frightened as you hear? This is what the actual demons, the hell wardens, say. Are you frightened as you hear the cries and see with your eyes? How much more then will you be terror-stricken when your body is burning like dry grass and tinder? However, the burning by fire here is not that of a literal fire, but rather the hot passion of your evil karma. The burning of fire may be extinguished, but the burning of evil karma cannot be put out. So that's talking about the San Francisco Bay Area, the hell of great scorching heat, and then the hell of no interval again, and so yeah, it talks about like the eye of a needle, which seems to be similar language to the New Testament. Let's see, no phenomenon is permanent. Let us then venerate what is truly venerable, and following the teachings of the Buddha, be diligent in doing work according to the teachings. Let us seek the reward of eternal pleasure. Thus it is with man. So I think it's like saying probably like a lot of ancient religions that basically life sucks, so don't focus on life, focus on knowledge, because knowledge is permanent, knowledge is eternal, and life is fleeting. Truth is eternal. All right, so, and it's all about hating, about the passions. Oh yeah, because in the other one it referred to the lowest hell as being at the bottom limit of the realm of passions. So basically the underworld America is just the realm of passions, and it just metaphorically represents all the passions of man. Okay, so then this guy is I don't know if I showed this, like this paper up here is Corvin. This paper she's reading is Popov. Her head is this part of Unga, and then his head is this other part of Unga. So yeah, I flipped their heads around. I think I showed these in the last one. But this guy's head sticks into like this, because like this part here is Lord Yama. So that's Kupreanof Peninsula. This is Lord Yama's table. So, and this relates to some ridges on Kupreanof that look like writing, look like Sanskrit. But as it relates to these two figures, this piece of paper seems to actually be represented by Korovin Island. So, because it has identical ridges to the part of Kuprianov that represents it. So, so yeah, like basically, God, this image is so fucking bad. All right, so, but it shows also here, this guy's head is sticking into this like black, which is really a lake that's in Kuprianov Peninsula. So that probably is, you know, I knew that's probably significant because details like that usually are. So sure enough, in that lake, this is that lake, it's like a dark kind of black lake. There is like a pointy bit at the far end, which is this island right here. And it's actually shaped almost identically to this demon's tooth. So I think that is the reason that they put him here, because it's, even though this is supposed to be a horn on his head, it still is somehow a reference to that tooth, identical. How's it going, Bentley? So yeah, this is the eyes, the iron ore. Heads of the 18 Hell Wardens are like from their 64 eyes, they emit iron balls. So in this case, it seems to, all the eyes on this demon seem to be all these iron deposits all around Trinidad that you can mine iron balls from. Iron-rich soils in Trinidad typically occur as highly weathered, rusty red sediments and rocks. This is something I did on Google Maps. Left them a little review showing that the Kuprianov Peninsula is Lord Yama, King Enma. This is seemingly the eyes of this demon. All right, so I think I already did like all these things. All right, so here, this shows like how similar these are. Like how similar this weird tooth that sticks out of this guy's cheek, this demon's cheek, is to this, which is supposed to represent one of his horns in Kuprianov Peninsula. So yeah, here's again, and it's also a bit similar to this as well, but which is probably represents like the pole that he's holding. So yeah, this island is seen as part of him, probably because it resembles this, and it somewhat resembles this, at least the former. So yeah, there's the two things that are, you know, they're obviously not identical, but they're relatively similar. All right, so this, let's see, internal consumes the vital, by the three heats is meant burning, extreme burning, and wildly extreme burning. So this is from the same scrolls, Japanese 19th century hell scrolls. The suffering in this Abijigoku is 1,000 times greater than the combined sufferings of the preceding 7 great hells and their separate places. The suffering in this hell is so severe that the victims envy the victims in the hell of great scorching heat. That's the San Francisco Bay Area. For the suffering in the latter seems to them like the pleasures in Takejigavu. If the beings under the 4 heavens and the beings in the 6 Devalokas of Kamadhatu should smell the stench of this hell, they would perish utterly. The reason is because all the victims of this hell are filled with putrefaction. If it be asked why the stench does not reach up to us, the answer is that it is because there are 2 high mountains. the one called Mount of Appearing and the other Mount of Disappearing, which shut off the stench from us. If a person should hear all about the suffering in this hell, he could not endure it and it would kill him. How terrible then it must be. Not 1,000th of the horrors of this Abijigoku has been told, for it cannot be described. No one could listen to the description, nor can it be compared with anything else. If anyone should describe it thoroughly or listen to a full description of it, he would vomit blood and die. All right, so hopefully you guys are okay. This is the heart of the Shohonenkyo. According to the Kusharon, life in the bottomless hell, this bottomless hell lasts for the period of a middling kalpa. So that's like 10 trillion years or something. But I think I took this photo because of, primarily because of the two mountains that separate the underworld from the upper world. So it says, you know, if it be asked why the stench does not reach up to us, the answer is that it is because there are two high mountains, the one called Mount of Appearing, the other Mount of Disappearing, which shut off the stench from us. So two mountains that separate the world from the underworld. So that's the same cosmology as ancient Egypt. So here, in ancient Egyptian cosmology, the twin peaks of the horizon refer to the sacred mountain gate where the sun god enters the underworld at dusk and is reborn from the underworld, returns from the underworld at dawn. Known as Akhet, this powerful concept profoundly shaped Egyptian mythology, language, and monumental architecture. So, I mean, Akhet can also just mean the underworld itself. The Akhet hieroglyph, the Egyptian word for horizon or mountain of light, is written as a glowing sun positioned perfectly between the two mountain peaks. This represents the threshold between the earthly world and the netherworld. So again, these two mountains separate the underworld from the upper world, just as in Buddhism. The two mountains, often named Manu, the western mountain of sunset, and Baku, the eastern mountain of sunrise, framed the daily cycle of creation and rebirth. So chances are the Buddhist mountain of appearing is the mountain of the sunrise, and then the mountain of disappearing, the mount of disappearing is the mount of the sunset. So yeah, and you know, there could be some connection between the two mountains and the two, you know, North America and South America, those two land masses. But I know in celestial cosmology, they are seen as being the dark areas between the sky goddess Nut's arms and legs. So I think the one between her legs is for the sunrise, where the sun is born out of her vagina, and then the sunset is between her arms, where also I think is her head, where she like eats the sun as the sunset. So there you go. It's all one religion when you go back. Aker and the guardian lions. The horizon was intimately guarded by Aker, an earth and underworld deity. Aker was typically depicted as a double-headed lion or two recumbent lions seated back to back, facing away from each other. These lions represented yesterday and today, or Seth and Dual, guarding the mystical threshold of time and ensuring the sun god's safe passage. The concept of the twin-peaked horizon heavily influenced Egyptian building design. The massive monumental gateways, pylons flanking the entrances of temples like the Temple of Horus at Edfu were built to symbolize the twin peaks. The rising sun shining directly between these two towers mirrored the Akhet hieroglyph, effectively framing the temple as a sacred bridge between heaven and earth, or between upper world and underworld. All right, there's this Yamapura. So even the Sanskrit writing for Yamapura kind of looks like the writing that's the ridges in Alaska. Yama is the Hindu god of death, king of ancestors, and final judge on the destination of souls. He is also known as the restrainer, Preta Raja, or king of Pretas, being the hungry spirit realm. So this is one avatar of Yama. So yeah, he's the guy who's biting the whole cosmos in Buddhist mandalas. I mean, he seems to be Saturn, and if he is Saturn, he is time. You know, Saturn represents time. So it's a natural kind of lord of all other gods, since time kind of has the last say, last laugh. Okay, in the Pali Canon, the Buddha states that a person who has ill-treated their parents, ascetics, holy persons, or others is taken upon his death to Yama. Yama then asks the ignoble person if he ever considered his own ill conduct in light of birth, deterioration, sickness, worldly retribution, and death. In response to Yama's question, such an ignoble answers that he failed to consider the karmic consequences of his reprehensible actions, and as a result is sent to a brutal hell so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. In the Pali commentariat tradition, the scholar Buddhaghosa's commentary to the describes Yama as a Vimana Peta, a being in a mixed state. So I'm sure that's etymologically, married to Petas, because he's the king of the Peta realm. It's called Preta or Peta, the starving spirit, the ancestor realm. Pitru in Hinduism. So Yama himself is called a Peta, Vimana Peta. So Vimanas are like flying, things. So Vimana probably means flying or something. Let's see. A being in a mixed state. So Peta, I think, must mean a being, a ghost, a departed one. And then Vimana maybe means a mixed state. By referring to movement, it maybe also implies diversity. Sometimes enjoying, so he describes Yama as a Vimana Peta, being in a mixed state, sometimes enjoying celestial comforts, and at other times punished for the fruits of his karma. However, Buddhaghosa considered his rule as a king to be just. So he's saying that, I think because the Alaskan Peninsula is between all these other realms, like it's part of America, but it sticks so far away from America, basically into the middle of the North Pacific, it forms the boundary between the Pacific and the Bering Sea. So he's kind of in the northern Arctic heavenly Deva realm, and in America, the underworld, and in the sea, and he's part of the Aleutians because he's right next to them. Modern Theravadin countries portray Yama sending old age, disease, punishments, and other calamities among humans as warnings to behave well. At death, they are summoned before Yama, who examines their character and dispatches them to their appropriate rebirth, whether to earth or to one of the heavens or hells. Sometimes there are thought to be 2 or 4 Yamas, each presiding over a distinct hell. So it's probably arbitrary. There could probably be any number of Yamas, depending on the myth or whatever. But all right, so yeah, Yama. Yeah, I think that the fact that he's a mixed state is because of that fact about the Alaskan Peninsula, that it kind of is a liminal zone between multiple realms. All right, so this one is part of his city, more or less, but it's like the other part that he's not in. This is where the weighing scene, like in maybe most or all ancient religions, there's some sort of weighing scene in the underworld. So the Egyptians, they weighed the heart against a feather, but in this, they're weighing like a whole ass person versus a boulder. So I don't know how that works, but I'm sure it's related in terms of its origins. So this is this guy pulling this weird thing with this other guy in it. So this is the face of this guy. His body is just kind of scrunched into here. And then the other guy's face is, you can't really see it, but it's actually facing backwards, but they show it facing forwards. Then this, you have the measuring thing. So this side with this guy sticking his hand up is here, but he's actually facing this way. This is his head, this is his hand sticking out. The other one, this demon, is this thing with his nose sticking straight up, and then this rock above him is this thing here. This part here is probably this, and this thing, actually it might be something further up. Then this demon and this guy are probably this and this, somehow both in here. Then this mirror is probably some part of this thing. And the thing, or it's not I mean, I guess it's a screen. It's like a TV screen, ancient TV screen. So, and then these are like maybe the images in the screen, those ridges. So yeah, like, yeah. This one I screwed up because I forgot to flip this one, because they have it flipped retrograde. They have the, they have the person on this side and the demon on this side, but really it's the person on this side and the demon on this side. And yeah. So this is the whole Yama city. And to some extent, the whole Alaskan Peninsula may be seen as Yama. And to some extent, the whole of America may be seen as Yama. But yeah, it's the similar thing. It's basically the same things, but just put together, Here's Yama, here's forget what his name is, the hell nerd that's like the scribe, the one who actually decides like your fate, because he has the book of life, the records of your karma, book of karma. Then this guy, Bikonyuji Islands, and this guy, Alexander Point. These guys, Egg Islands, Jacob Islands, and Paul Islands. And this demon here, and this lady here reading this piece of paper there. And then this lady here being Nagai Island. Then again, down here we have this guy pulling the thing, these guys looking at the screen, and then these guys doing the measurement, the weighing scene. And, Saturn was sometimes seen as the god of measurements, because as the furthest planet, he's used to basically measure the cosmos, and that's why he's the god of time, because he is the basis of the longest calendars. But yeah, so he, for that reason, he may also be the god of weights. Maybe weights and measures just kind of go together. So that could be why he has this scene like in his city. So yeah, that's the city, these two panels together, even though this scroll doesn't give any text with it. These are the only panels that have 0 text, which is interesting. And it's not even said to be part of hell or part of anything. Like, it really is a liminal zone. It's not one of the 8 hells. Like, the 8 hells start in the next panel after them. But it's also called the capital of hell, but it's also called the capital of the Preta realm. And Yama is also the lord of the first to lowest heaven, so maybe that's the same place too. He could be in like infinite realms at once somehow. Alright, so I'm watching like a new anime. It's called Scarlet. So it's clearly based on this type of ancient symbolism. Like, it's based on the symbolism of Amleth, like Hamlet, Amlodi, who also is probably Saturn, or may represent Saturn, may basically be Yama. And some of his story is similar or identical to Yama. But in this case, they twisted it up a bit. But anyways, it's set in the underworld. So this guy's in the underworld, he says. And it's so funny the way they, I don't know, some of the little twists they do on Hamlet. But, so yeah, I'd recommend it. It's in Netflix, new one. It's only in Japanese, though. You have to read the subtitles. But, at least more legit, I guess. So yeah, he says, he's like, was this a battleground? He finds an arrow. So hell is seen as Valhalla. How Valhalla is hell. It's the first level of hell, at least, both for the Norse and for the Buddhists. For the Buddhists, it's called the hell of resurrection, and it's where the warriors fight each other and kill each other endlessly and keep coming back to life. So, it's in like basically northern Alaska, is that area. So that's a reference to that when he says, is this a battleground? Was this a battleground? Then he sees this written here, abandon hope, all ye who enter here. So that's from Dante's Inferno. That's like written on the gates of hell in Dante. The gates of hell. This is hell, don't make me laugh. And then she says, I think I missed one. First she said, oh, you're very confident, huh? Disappointed you're not in heaven? Everybody thinks we go to heaven or hell when we die. But we all come here without exception. So that's the truth of Buddhism. It's not the afterlife we imagined. I mean, it's the truth of all these like religions. Basically, you go to the, the underworld, the afterlife. But like it's a saying in some Japanese Buddhist writings. I forget the Japanese for it, but the translation is "hell is inevitable." But if you read the actual scrolls, the actual text describing hell, it's very clear that this is true. Because it's very clear that the so-called sins that people are damned to hell for are things that literally every person does. And so, you can either read it and assume that everybody, all the most learned monks were idiots, or you can just read it as what it is. It's a joke. It's funny. It's kind of a riddle, just like this anime is. They have different layers and surprises and whatnot. And so they make you think like, oh my God, hell is so scary. I better make sure I don't go there, so I'm not one of those bad people that does these bad things. But if you actually read it, you realize, no, everybody goes there. That's just the afterlife. Because it says, like, for instance, in the first level of the Japanese Buddhist hell, it says, the Valhalla level, it says you go there for killing. So that's where the warriors go. But then it specifies that killing means killing any living thing, an insect, anything. So that's everybody has killed a living thing. It specifies like if you've ever eaten an animal. It might even say, I think it says if you cut down a tree. So these are things everybody has done. So it's not literal. Like the idea of like certain people being specially punished is just mythological, because if you can understand the text, it says very plainly that everybody goes there, even though it kind of plays around the fact. It doesn't say it explicitly, it just gives you all the information you need to figure that out if you have any logic or honesty. So it's nice to have that in this anime, but it's so weird. Like these animes are so thoroughly all these ancient symbols, and yet there's no way people watching these animes have any fucking clue. I mean, how many people know? It's just got to be whoever's making the animes, they somehow know. And then who else? Just the Yakuza and the Freemasons or something, the Jesuits. I mean, as far as, I'm the only person, one of the only people that like talk about this type of stuff openly. So it's kind of bizarre that all these hundreds of animes about the underworld are so intricately, based upon real mythology, and yet nobody knows it. It's like just wasted on the audience for the most part. It could be that there's more people who secretly know the truth than I would have guessed. But, it's like, why won't they share it? If there's anybody who knows the truth besides me, like, I share it because that's my responsibility. I don't have some, the truth didn't come down to me saying like, oh, you're the only person who deserves to know it, so I share it. So if there's all these other people who know the truth and they only just hint at it in animes and shit, it seems kind of weird and pathetic and cowardly, but is what it is. I mean, I guess for them, maybe that's their only outlet or something, but it's very bizarre. I don't know why people don't ever talk openly about these things that are so constantly hinted at in so many different movies and shows. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, like Hamlet is probably the same as Brutus of Roman, or like the earlier Brutus, I think, in Roman lore, and Kai Khosrau of the Persians, I think, and King Arthur. Yeah, he's basically King Arthur. I don't know, I forget all the different iterations of this character, but it seems to basically be the same as Yama. And then she's Scarlet, so she's the daughter of Hamlet. So it's kind of it's like a next generation Hamlet where she's like the new Hamlet, playing the same role that Hamlet plays in the original. So, and it's all about symbolism and secrecy and whatnot. And, you know, it kind of explains potentially the origin of modern religion, where it's like the uncle assassinates the king and usurps the throne. And so the son tries to like hide how intelligent he is so that his uncle doesn't kill him. And so he just speaks through symbolism. And so that's basically what religion is. Religion is advanced knowledge cloaked in symbolism and conveyed through symbolism. But the symbolism has a lot more value than just secrecy. All right, but yeah, I highly recommend that anime film. It's called Scarlet. It, you know, helps explain some of these concepts about the underworld and about Hamlet and all these symbols, symbolic myths. All right, anyway, take care. Have a good one. Thank you much. Peace.